ever had a surprise? Maybe it was on your birthday and somebody bought you something that was such a surprise. It was just what you'd always wanted. I've got a surprise today. Would you like to see what it is? This came today. Somebody bought it for me. And inside was a surprise. I just wasn't expecting it. You want to see what's inside? Homemade cookies! Oh, what a treat! Oh, lovely! I'm going to save that for later. I love getting a surprise, don't you? Oh, I love it. And it's Christmas soon, isn't it? And I'm sure a lot of us will be getting some amazing surprises. I can't wait. Well, today's story, there is a group of people who got the biggest surprise they've ever had. In fact, it was probably the biggest surprise you'll ever have heard of. Better than anything that you've been surprised with, or I've been surprised with. Would you like to hear the story? Are you sitting comfortably? Well, let's begin. A long, long time ago, on a hillside, some shepherds were out watching their sheep. Now, the thing you need to know about shepherds is not many people liked them. Maybe it's because they were a bit smelly, because sheep are a bit smelly. Maybe it's because they had to stay up all night watching their sheep, so perhaps they were a bit grumpy the next day. Maybe it's because they weren't very rich and they often wore scruffy clothes or didn't look very good. Well, there were some shepherds and they were out on the hillside looking after their sheep at night time, making sure no wolves came and attacked the sheep and carried them off, making sure no one stole the sheep. There they were, staring up at the night sky, when all of a sudden they had the biggest surprise of their life. Suddenly, there was a blinding light. Well, they couldn't understand what it was. It was the middle of the night. It was supposed to be pitch black. But as they looked up in the sky to see what the blinding light was, they saw a huge warrior of light standing there right in front of them. He was so huge, it looked like his head touched the stars in the sky, and he was so bright they could hardly look at him. And then, as if that wasn't a surprise enough, the angel, or warrior of light, spoke to them. He said, "Don't be afraid." Well, the shepherds, they weren't very brave. You might think they were brave, fighting off wolves from the sheep or stopping people stealing them. But really, deep down, they weren't. And the sight of this gigantic, shiny man standing in front of them, well, they nearly ran off the hillside all the way home. Thank goodness they were too scared to move, or they wouldn't have heard what the angel said next. The angel said, "Don't be afraid. I bring you an amazing message for you and everyone in the world. Today, in the town just below this hill, a baby has been born. A very special baby. This baby will save the world." And then the angel left. Well, the shepherds, they were a bit like Mary. They'd been waiting and hoping and dreaming and wishing that God would send his special saviour to the world. And now here was a warrior of light telling them, "It's happened! You should go and see forgot all about the sheep, and they picked up their crooks and they picked up their blankets and they ran as fast as they could down the hill, through the town, looking and looking and looking for the place that the angel had told them about. And eventually they came to a tumble down shed, somewhere that somebody kept their animals. And they thought, surely this can't be the place where God's special Saviour is. As they looked inside the door, there, lying in the hay, was a tiny baby, and next to him was his mother, Mary. Yes, Mary's special baby that the angel had told her about had been born. God's Saviour was finally here. The shepherds quietly crept in so they could see this amazing gift from God. After they'd seen the baby, the shepherds ran back to their field, and they were so happy. They'd seen God's Saviour. He was finally here after all this time. The hope of the world lying in his mum's arms in a tumbled down shed right underneath their hill.
And who